Looking at the film Metropolis by Fritz Lang. Still looking at the topic, the worlds of upheaval. Today we're going to specifically explore, though, how German expressionism is seen within the film Metropolis. So that was one of the influencing ideologies within the context of Lang's time, and it influenced his production of the film. So our learning goal today is to discuss the form and features of the film and how this affects the construction meaning. So today, first, I wanted to give you just a couple of features of expressionism, in German expressionism in film. So as we discussed in class, German expressionism is as a result of the disillusionment after the end of World War I, and also hyperinflation and the results of poverty, that artists were trying to react to some of those experiences that the German people were feeling during that time. But within film, expressionism focuses on how the depiction of reality was distorted for emotional effect. So distortion of reality is one of the features of expressionism, and we see that a lot in the film Metropolis, but also for emotional effect, so to have an effect on the responder or to demonstrate the emotion of the character. So in film, expressionism is sought to convey the inner subjective experience of its subjects. In Metropolis, there are 2 or 3 examples of the subjective experience. We've got the subjective experience of Freda and Maria at different times that follows their emotions and their feelings and their journey throughout the film. But there's also the collective experience of the city, and the collective experience of the city focuses on the disparity between workers and the wealthy metropolis. And part of the reason that was such a big theme was that Fritz Lang was trying to express some of that disillusionment and distrust experienced by the economic imbalances of the Weimar German Republic, especially following what I was just saying before about the end of World War I and the hyperinflation as a result of the depression that Germany felt. Okay, so we're going to look at the scene, the meaning of Maria now, and explore that in a little bit more detail. Sorry, we're not looking at the meaning of Maria, we're looking at the catacomb scene, so where Maria has brought all of the workers, and we know that Freda has stepped in replacement of one of the workers who was tiring from exhaustion. And so again, we've got one of the features of expressionism within film is, of course, the gestures, the over-exaggerated gestures, and we have that in this scene, and also in the scene where Freda first meets Maria. So that grasping of the heart to emphasize that inner feeling that is he's experiencing, that longing, that need for Maria in his life. So chiaroscuro is something that's also used in this scene in order to emphasize the purity that Maria has, and the way that she is trying to bring together the disparities within the metropolis, the upper and the lower. And so she's trying to bring them together, and the chiaroscuro covers her in light here to emphasize that she is trying to help bring about that mediator, and she is going to be prophetic in doing that. Again, the expressive movements there of Freda, his arms out, emphasizing his submission to Maria and to what she is going to say. Now, Joe Fredison and Rotwang are obviously observing and looking on, because they're going to plot and scheme against them. I just want to also talk to you about the neo-Christian symbols that you can see, the crosses, even the way that the catacombs is used here and becomes an alternate space. So we have the workers' city, then we have Metropolis, and they're all made out of industrial materials, except for the workers' garden, which represents that opulence of the Weimar Republic and the rich disparity with the poor. But here we see that this has been carved, these catacombs have been carved out of the ground. And so it emphasizes to us that we're actually in a third layer space of Metropolis, and that is below even the workers' city. So it's, and they're meeting in a place that was pre-Metropolis, a place that was pre the creation of the city and the workers' city. And so thus emphasizes Maria is trying to she's trying to create a social utopia here, and that's reinforced by that neo Christian symbols that we see. Okay, so now Maria is going to tell them the story of the Tower of Babel. Okay, that's a biblical allusion there. And in a moment, we're going to see all of this expressionist movement, apocalyptic imagery of urban destruction versus new objectivity, in which technology was reevaluated in positive terms. So this is, as she's going to use this biblical retelling, and as you can see, it has been remastered by Lang. Now, great is the world, and great its creator, and great is man. There we have the Tower of Babel, and the Tower of Babel illusion is really interesting and important because it's a story that's centered on mankind's aspiration to transcend earthly limits. So it's supposed to highlight the impossibility of fulfilling this, the impossibility of man being able to achieve and transcend earthly limits. Okay, but it also emphasizes the undeterred progress and secular modernity halted by divine intervention. Okay, so that idea that modernism, that capitalism has been halted by divine intervention. And the Tower of Babel has been used throughout literature and art as a symbol of human labor. Because it is mankind building this tower not against God, but in order to equal God. And so it's a penultimate image to represent here, this image of Babel representing the upper and lower division. Okay, so this is where the story from the biblical story takes a little bit of a turn, and it starts to link more to the story of Metropolis as it gathers strangers to labour for them, representing this labour class. So here we see the workers coming to the tower, similar, reminiscent of the workers arriving at the city of Metropolis. And it says that the hands that built the Tower of Babel knew nothing about the dream of the mind that conceived it. So now we have Maria again acting as a mediator. So here we again have this, even the fact that now the the Babel symbol is going to be dripping, and we saw the expression on the workers' faces, that exaggerated expression, again linking to their inner turmoil and their inner feelings here. I just wanted to reinforce that, the Tower of Babel is the oldest model for the destruction of urban fantasy. So just remember that as we watch the next few scenes. So here emphasizing that the workers have found the tower to be a curse because they're the ones that are enslaved in order to build it. And here is the divine intervention. The people can't speak together. They were given different languages. So there we have the destruction of the urban fantasy. And so again, the Metropolis becomes a visual allegory here for the whole film, this little Tower of Babel scene for Metropolis. We've got the conception, the building of Metropolis, and then the destruction of Metropolis. So it also becomes prophetic, that Maria here is trying to offer a prophetic word of warning and caution, because she knows that there's the potential, if the workers revolt, for all to be destroyed. And so there is a caution to that, and now she will speak to the need for a mediator. And again, we see her surrounded by the candles in the catacombs and the crosses, and representing the Virgin Mother, Madonna figure. Mediator between the mind and the hands must be the heart. And now causing all of the workers to hope for what she is saying, which is a mediator. The mediator is supposed to ensure functionality of the community. So trying to ensure that there isn't the destruction. And this is all a reaction to modernity's radical loss of a sense of community and a separation between the masses, the poor and the wealthy, and the fear that industrialization and capitalism will only increase that disparity. And here is that thudding of his heart, Freda, again, that emphasizing his, the inner subjectivity of him, which is his desire for a mediator too. He wants that. And notice the music change here. We're about to see the reaction of the workers. It shows that they haven't learnt their lesson. They haven't listened to the prophecy of Maria. I just wanted to say one more thing about the space of the catacombs again, something that I forgot to say earlier, which is that what was I going to say? Oh, the catacombs are carved out of the earth, and Metropolis, it reminds us that Metropolis rests on the remnants of a past city, a city that lies underneath the present modern megacity. And this city isn't modern, it was ancient, carved out of the earth, as I said earlier, and it represents a mythical pre-modern site that allows revolutionary forces to flourish. So that's another reason why they're allowed to meet here, because it is a third space. It's not Metropolis, and it's not the workers' city. It's an alternate space here in which they can have this didactic instructional moral given to them that is actually for both the workers, working class, and the masters, and that Maria's ultimate instruction and moral here is that the workers shouldn't revolt, but then also the masters shouldn't exploit, because we did see the idea in that Bay Bell scene that the masters and the ones